Give him a shot to do what?
Bert is back in the building with us, man. I feel so good, man. We got the new layout popping. It's been the network's been thriving while you've been away handling business. So.
I see. It was like it was like the Handsome Men's Club last week with you and JT and the Don. I was like, damn. Man. It's like I'm not even needed anymore.
Nah, that's not true. We needed you real bad. I needed you against JT. This guy's the diabolical hater, man. That guy's out of control.
Have you finally met your match?
I think I have, man. Some of his takes are ridiculous. He said Randall Cunningham wasn't a good running quarterback, which is ridiculous. But that's another show. I'm sick of him. Bert's back. We're back to normal. We're gonna do Mets Yankees as they play as we speak on July 25th.
At least the Mets are playing, that's for sure.
The Mets are playing right now, but the Yankees have a better shot in the future than we do. But we'll discuss what went wrong, give our teams grades, maybe see what we can do at the trade deadline. Dan Snyder, don't let the door hit you, jackass. Glad that he's out. Got hit with a $60 million fine, dropping the bucket for a guy like him. But more importantly, he is no longer in the NFL. And then, of course, we are going to continue our NFL offseason preview package with the NFC East because Bert is here. And so I want to reward my guy coming back. And I wanted to talk a little Giants. Daniel Jones, is he the second best quarterback in the division? Find out next. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports, presented by the Give Us a Shot Network, powered by Fast Break Coffee. I am the Facebook felon Jerm. Back with me is the prettier Corey Burt. What's up, brother?
Yo, it is good to be back after a little bit of time off. And yeah, I mean, jumping right to it to talk football, right? I mean, look, man, less than a week left in July. You know what that means. Once August hits, especially for us, baseball season's over.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah.
I know, like, Yankee purists will be like, no, we still have a shot. We can do it. No, it's over. It is absolutely over. So what better way than to cure my baseball depression and focus on football? Why not?
100%. So let's do NFC East preview package. We have the defending NFC East champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, who not even in question have the best quarterback in that division. So we're not really worried about that.
Yeah, no,
Jalen Hurts is the best.
That's a given. You can't argue against it, right? He went absolutely beast mode last year. Every year he's gotten better and better. 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Insane.
Now, the question is, who is the second best quarterback? Bert, give it to me.
It's Daniel Jones. It is.
Yeah, hold up. Yep, sure is.
We say that. So I'm going off of like moving forward, right? Now, the one thing with Dak, if you look at his resume, is it better than Daniel Jones? Yes, it is. And here's why. Because Dak Prescott has had a longer career and one that had a more consistent, I guess, coaching environment and backfield than Daniel Jones had. And look, nothing against Saquon. He's been great. But I mean, Zeke in his prime was Zeke. And now we're seeing the opposite effect of that, right? When Dallas's backfield is not as consistent as it has been, we're talking about a rushed Dak Prescott that threw a season and I think NFL high 15 interceptions last year. Whereas my boy Danny Dimes, he threw 5. Threw for only 15 touchdowns with 3,200 yards, had a great year last year. And this was amidst a coaching change. He found his rhythm. He got paid in the offseason. So looking ahead, who has the better outlook and who is the second best quarterback in that division, for me, it's simple. It's Daniel Jones. And as of today, Saquon signed an 11 mil 1 year deal. You know he's playing. He's getting that
Yep.
game check. He's going to have
Congratulations.
consistency in the backfield. Daniel Jones is also going to have, we'll say, more offensive weapons and a reliable, hopefully, tight end with Darren Waller. So I think there's a better outlook than Dak this year. Now, I know some of you saying like, oh, no, well, what about Dak and his weapons and CD? And, it's just like, yeah, look, he'll have them. But I just think at this point in time, Daniel Jones is the better quarterback.
So there's only one true metric in today, the year 2023, of who's good or not. And that's if you put up fantasy points. Bert, guess who was the number 9 fantasy quarterback last year?
Was it Daniel Jones?
It was Danny Dimes over Dak Prescott at number 18. All right, overall. Let's see. Now, Dak missed a couple games at the beginning of the season, but Daniel Jones still had more yards. He had a better completion percentage, right? He had more completions, obviously. He played more games, but the attempts were, even the yards, even rushing, you're talking 182 to 708. That's the difference. Daniel Jones, listen, I'll say it, is a better athlete than Dak Prescott. I know you don't look at them two, and this is not a black and white thing. It's just Daniel Jones looks like a goofy librarian, but somehow it's somehow that 80-yard run, I get that he tripped on himself, but that was impressive. I mean, that was impressive.
Daniel Jones, yes, right? I mean, you don't expect that from
but for anybody. I don't know how many other quarterbacks can do that? Like, he was outrunning the secondary. They only got him because he tripped. That was it. And so then Brian Dable unlocked something with him last year.
Yeah.
So, like, he looked really good. If he can continue that, there's no doubt. I always say on the show, all you need is a top half quarterback. I don't see why Daniel Jones can't be a top third quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about somewhere in the fringe top 10 to top 12, 13 range. That's what, if Daniel Jones can be that's a huge success for the Giants. And so, to me, Dak can't stay healthy. All those interceptions, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him some bail and say that's a little bit of a outlier. But I don't know. What I've seen from Daniel Jones, I am more comfortable with going forward with that than the sporadic nature of what Dak Prescott can give you. I just don't see it. Dak has a lot of hype around him, and I like what Daniel Jones has been able to do. So I would agree with you, man. I think Daniel Jones is the second best quarterback in the NFC East. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at us about that, but
you will certainly hear the argument like, oh, and look, we're not saying Dak is a bad quarterback, but when it comes down to who's better in this division, it is Daniel Jones. And you'll hear the argument like, oh, well, Dallas's defense sucked last year, so they were always, behind. So Dak had to throw more, which is why he threw more interceptions. And that I say, well, in order to be a good quarterback, you have to have good accuracy. So don't throw it like that, or throw it where on the target where it's supposed to be. So, look, we're not here to lie to you or just get you all riled up because we want to spew our narrative. We're here to spit facts. And the fact is, Daniel Jones is better.
Is better. We have a monopoly on the truth on this show and on this network. So, I mean, everybody knows it. So, Daniel Jones definitely, I think is the second best. But it's okay, Dak. You can be third best.
Yeah.
But who in the division to you has the biggest question mark?
It's easily the Commanders, right? I mean, you go through the lack of identity at the quarterback position. Yes, beefing up from a defensive standpoint. They certainly have the most to prove because I still feel they're in somewhat of a rebuild, and not for nothing, as much as we've touted him too, I don't want to say lost faith, but I'm not terribly confident in Ron Rivera's leadership.
Yeah, me neither.
So I think they're the biggest question mark to see how they can gel as a team. Look, we know the Eagles just went to the show, man. Like we know they're good. The Cowboys, to your point last week, like, it's going to be consistently. It's either be consistently mediocre or consistently a circus one way or another. So there's really no question marks there. Do they have the potential? They do. Can they get it together? Likely not. The Giants trending upwards. We kind of know what to expect, and our expectations, particularly as Giant fans, is high after
Yeah.
seeing last season, and especially with the additions we've had this year. So the biggest question for it's but by like a large margin, it has to be the Commanders, or insert name here, whatever they're going to call themselves in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to Dan Snyder in a bit. I'm not, because I know what the Commanders are, I'm not expecting anything, especially from their quarterback position. I don't really, their question mark has been answered. Like they're starting fresh with a new ownership, with Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and the 12 other people that own the team now. But for me, the question mark is the team we just talked about, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. They lost key personnel on defense, and most importantly, they lost their most important person, Kellen Moore, who went over to Los Angeles. So for all those people who don't think Mike McCarthy's a good coach, he's now calling the plays. And you're coming off of a season where Dak Prescott had his highest interception total.
Yeah.
You got old ass Stephon Gilmore coming to town. You paid him a lot. Ezekiel, the only good thing that the Cowboys did this offseason is that none of their players punched a bartender in the face. That's about it. Thank God, drama free for the first time ever. I can't say that about my Bills. We can't have one normal fucking offseason without something happening. I feel like the Cowboys are in the same boat. And so, but for a team because the Commanders don't have Super Bowl aspirations and nobody expects anything of them, I'm not really questioning anything that they're doing. They're still trying to figure it out. I guess if you wanted to say, their defense was low-key really good last year, especially towards the end of the year. I believe 7th ranked, and that was without Chase Young. If the biggest question mark for the Commanders is, can Chase Young be the guy they drafted and come back healthy? Because if they have a good defense they can anchor, with the weapons on offense, as long as Sam Howell's okay, the team was winning with Taylor Heineke. I got to imagine Sam Howell can do similar things.
I hope so. If not, what the other option is? What, Jacoby? Like,
yeah, not exactly good, but yeah, I'm worried. The Cowboys should be worried. Losing Kellen Moore, a guy who took a lot of credit for their success, and then with Dak Prescott. And then what do you do? Tony Pollard is now the number one back. It was great when he was the second guy, and everybody loves the backup. But now that he's the man, supposedly, there's a chance Ezekiel Elliott can re-sign with them. I don't know if, maybe that'll happen as the sand empties out of the hourglass on his free agency. But for now, Tony Pollard's the guy. So that's different. And then what are you going to do on defense? Now Zach Martin wants a new deal. He's not reporting to camp. You need him. Need him on that line. So I have questions about the Cowboys because the Giants got better. The two biggest question marks about the Giants were Daniel Jones, which got solved really early, and then Saquon Barkley, which got solved yesterday, if you want to call it that. Because I definitely want to get your opinion on that, because I don't understand the fight to not get franchised, to take a 1-year deal where you were essentially getting what you would get franchised for. What did you think?
Or less, actually.
Or less. What I think it was like 10 and some change.
What you would get, yeah.
But
still less than what rookies are making.
Right.
To be honest with you, man, I'm indifferent about it, and that's we can get to that. You want to get to it now, or you want to get to it?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, because I didn't add it to the thing in this kind of.
Look, I'm very happy he's back, and we don't have to go through the drama of I'm going to sit it out. I'm not going to do this, because if that were the case, he would easily. That's just lost. That's just lost cause, and it's not a good showing from the Giants either. Come on, we certainly have to do something for this guy, but look, for me, the basis for comparison from when it comes down to a running back contract is all off of Christian McCaffrey's contract, right?
Right.
And we're now in this era, and we've seen it with quarterbacks, and a lot of skill players too. Is now people are just we saw it in the Daniel Jones contract. I don't think Daniel Jones is a $40 million man, but that's what he got paid. That's what market is now too. So I just don't think the Giants obviously wanted to go down that route. I don't understand. Why not tag him? Why not sign the tag? That's it, and then just pay him what it is anyways. I guess maybe to save it so they can tag him again next year, but even then, just pay it, right?
Yeah.
I will say, with that being said, the running back position since the past decade, teams have proven that You don't have to go out and sign a big running back in order to become a Super Bowl champion. In fact, since 2013, Super Bowl winning teams have paid less or have paid their leading rusher more than 2.5 million, or have not paid more than 2.5 million for their leading rusher. So it says no Super Bowl winning team since 2013 has paid the leading rusher more than 2.5 million. So it shows, I mean, you don't need just one guy. You just maybe need a consistent, duo back there. But like overall, and plus the shelf life of running backs, as we all know, are like so iffy.
Well, that's why they're having the trouble that they're having now. JT just popped in and said Saquon almost got traded to the Dolphins.
Ooh,
Dang.
I mean, I would hate it because I'm a Giant fan, but like thinking for the Dolphins, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah.
but I
For
will
him.
say, JT and all the Dolphin fans, and this includes a lot of people in my family. Dolphin fans are the kings of we almost had them. Have you noticed that? Oh, we almost had Tom Brady. We were a boat meeting away from having Tom Brady. We almost. Oh, they almost came. Doesn't matter. They're not there.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'll see him in blue. So.
So you get that, JT? Bert hit you with Bert hit you with one of these. You almost had it, pal. Almost had it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy he's here. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll earn himself an extension or some sort of contract in the regular season if he performs well, and that's the goal too, right? Going back to our expectations, we expect our expectations are very high, but they're not Super Bowl bound, right? Like I'm a realist here. I'm not going to sit here and say like, yeah, the Giants are the Super Bowl. I think they're plus 2,500 to win when the odds came out today for what the upcoming season looks like. But so yeah, I don't hate it, but it is what it is.
So the Saquon. The problem with the running backs, and JT and Adon talked about this, because it is probably now in today's NFL better to do running back by committee.
Oh, yeah.
When you pay a guy the money he's trying to get paid, he was trying to get Christian McCaffrey money. He was trying to get like $16 million a year.
He didn't, but he didn't have Christian McCaffrey production. That's the thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he believes now. I will say, to his credit, last year when he came on, that team looked a lot different. So if he wanted to sit there and make the argument that he made the offense go, then fine. I'm never going to be mad at people asking for what you want to get. You know what I mean? You are worth what somebody's willing to pay you, and you're not going to know what that is unless you ask for it. So I just wish the running backs are having a hard time. They're having like a Zoom meeting, but like you said, the shelf life is low, and I do understand that it's unfair because running backs are one of the few positions that get paid for they want to get paid for the future, but they have to prove themselves first. It's like they're the one position that has to like continuously, but by the time they do that, like it's pretty much over. They take so much wear and tear.
Yeah.
It's done. So now teams, and again, as an owner, try to put the owner cap on. I do understand, hey, you're a little broken down a little bit. I don't know if I want to give you $16 million guaranteed dollars every year. Like that's wild. So
what's
it's
even
like
go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's just like it's a rock and a hard place situation. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, again, me, the monopoly of the truth teller here. I've always said, Bert, what do I say? You don't pay skill players.
Yeah.
Period. Sorry, Saquon. I know your quads are huge and you can squat 725 or whatever the ridiculous number is. But guess what, buddy? Okay. We need to pay Danny Dimes because Danny Dimes will take us farther than you will.
Yeah.
So, theoretically, by
hopefully going to get hit far less too. Yeah.
Hit far less. They're the quarterback is the position that you're relying on over the running back. So yeah, man, I'm glad he got it done for this year, but buckle up, strap it on, Bert. You're going to do the same shit next season.
I know it is what it is. Here's a wild stat about running backs. We've been talking about Christian McCaffrey and how he's the highest paid running back in itself. He has the highest average annual value among all running backs, which is 16 million, what Jerm just said. This is according to Axios, but the 86th highest among all players. So he's the highest paid and like running back from an annual standpoint. But when we're looking at all players, he's number 86. That's insane. Like you said, for that position, like they should honestly, they should be one of the most well-paid positions because their window is so short. So why not make your bag in that window? Because your body's just going to give out on you eventually,
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's the fully guaranteed part that the owners are scared of because you get hit a lot, you're one hit away, even though
Yeah.
every player technically is one hit away, but
Yeah, but
more
you're gonna
so for
give,
the running
like,
back.
what did what Justin Herbert just get, 152 million guaranteed
Yeah.
in his
So
contract for someone who barely gets hit? To me, it should be the opposite, almost hazard pay to a certain extent.
Justin Herbert, Chargers agreed to a 5-year, $262.5 million extension.
Insane.
I mean, good luck with that. I mean, Justin
Yeah.
Herbert, I get the talent and all that stuff, but he hasn't really done. It's one of you can't lose him, right? Joe Flacco got a similar contract way back when, and people were making a big deal about what the Ravens gave Joe Flacco, and I made the argument: who are you going to get? Like, there's very few guys that you were comfortable with, and you pay
Mhm.
the guy. Matter of fact, we just went through this with Daniel Jones. People are like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, we gave Daniel Jones all that money." All right, well, who are you going to go get? Andy Dalton? Like,
Yeah.
it's you have to pay the guys that you need to keep. They couldn't afford to lose Daniel Jones. I know a lot of people have jokes for Daniel Jones, but he played well enough that I think that the Giants, and I guess Joe Shine agrees that he plays well enough, or he does enough that the team can win if they just build around it.
Yeah,
Nick
he's
Bosa not
proven that.
expected to he has proven it.
Yeah.
Not expected to practice.
Quick
Yeah.
correction, Justin Herbert fully, let's see, deal includes, this is according to Schefter,
Mhm.
133.7 million fully guaranteed with a potential for 218.7 guaranteed and a no trade clause. So
Yeah.
dude got paid.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the Jalen Brown from the Boston Celtics, similar deal.
Yeah.
The
Oh
biggest
yeah. Yeah.
max, the trade kicker, the no trade clause. He got everything. A player could ask for. You're not going to trade me, and everything's in my power. And Boston that sets the precedent. Same thing with Justin Herbert right now. Saquon Barkley's trying to do that for the running back. So we'll see how that goes for them in the future. All right, fuck all the bullshit, Bert.
Yeah.
Got the real questions out the way. Now we have to get the nitty gritty. Which team in the division has the best uniforms?
Yeah. This, when you sent me the show prep and I looked at this, I was like, I don't know what he wants me to say because I'm not going to say anything other than the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know they're boring, but it's the classic look. And me being someone who's a fan of a team in this division, I can't say any other team. I wouldn't
Yeah,
go near those colors during football season, let alone think one of them is cool. Now, look, I'll give respect where respect is due for just design and everything. But I mean, when we did the show last year on the Commanders' new look, easily
yeah,
unimpressed. The Birds really haven't changed their uniform in a while, and God knows Jerry Jones isn't going to change up America's team's uniform.
no.
So no, I'm going with the Giants. Yes, it's stale. Yes, it's vanilla. Yes, it's boring. But I will not. My fandom will not let me say anything else.
So if this was 4 years ago, I would have said Washington.
Mm.
Just that burgundy and gold, the
Mhm.
letters, their uniform was really tight. Everything about it was perfect, and then they went and shitted on it all with this Commanders nonsense. Bring back the Redskins, man. Fuck it. Fuck it.
I just can't believe you're saying the word now. You haven't said
Yeah,
it in so long.
I
Yeah.
know. You know why? Because the indigenous tribe, they don't give a fuck. They liked it. They didn't care. Who cares? It was just people just hated Dan Snyder. That's how I'm convinced of that. But anyway, I agree with you. I was gonna say the Cowboys, but I hate that the Cowboys use two separate blues.
Mm.
I hate that they use navy blue on their star, and then they wear their white jerseys with the royal blue.
Mhm.
Now I do like their navy blue top with the white shoulders. I like their throwback.
Mhm.
Um, I would have said the Eagles if they need to bring back their Kelly Green.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one of the bunch, but they don't have that yet. Supposedly that's coming next year. So
Interesting.
yeah, and that with the two helmet rule, I think they're doing. I thought it might be this year. I don't know. All the teams are unveiling their. You see the Broncos' new helmet? That fucking ugly
No.
piece of shit.
Oh, I
They have
gotta
a
go look at
white
this now.
helmet. It's their. I don't know why they're not bringing back the Orange Crush uniforms, but they have a white helmet, but they're wearing it with their all orange color rush jerseys. It's so stupid. It looks stupid.
Oh, I
If
do
they would
see
have did
that
all
now.
white,
Which
if
is
they
the
would have
the,
done
the old school logo I do like though.
yeah, but it's with the dark blue. So if they would have maybe if they would have used the
Ah,
regular their old school blue. The Broncos need to change we're talking about teams that have uniforms. Broncos need to change their shit up. I know the Cardinals just did it, but yeah. Dwayne Marcus, what's up, brother? Dwayne Marcus got big news coming. I'm not going to spoil
ooh,
it. I'm gonna let him do it.
he's
So,
starting an
but
OnlyFans account. I know it.
he might, man.
Yeah,
He's down there in
yeah.
DC, man. Times is tough, man. He's got to make some dollars. Um, so yeah, I think I agree with you. The Giants have a balanced jersey set, and I like it.
They
Now
do.
I do prefer the Giants, the whole name on the side
I
as
do
opposed
too.
to
Just
the
the
NY,
NY. Yeah. Yeah.
but it just looks clean every time they wear it, man. Big blue,
Yeah.
man. I do like it. The only competition for me is would be the Kelly Green Eagles whenever they unveil that. Times do be tough down here, he says. That's
It's
awesome.
it's the throwback that gets me, particularly for the Giants. Like when they wore their '80s throwback last year with the royal blue with like the red
Mhm,
trim.
mhm.
I immediately went out there and bought that jersey. Um, I mean, look, I like the regular ones too. I mean,
Yeah,
classic, simple, right? And even
yeah.
the white with the red trim looks good too. So look, can't wait to see if they unveil, like, in terms of like their helmets, what it's going to look like and so on. So
So now that we did that, who should be favored to win the NFC East?
the Eagles.
Yeah.
They are. They're, I mean, between offense and then having like the number 2 defense in the league, they're poised to win. Plain
Yeah.
and simple. I can't dispute that fact. I absolutely can't. And the only time I can is if for some reason, if we're doing the show in week 5 and they went 0 for 5, then I'll dispute it.
Yeah.
But no, as of right now, it looks like they're gonna win.
So I almost put them as my biggest question mark, and it's only because they lost both of their coordinators. But that speaks to how good they were
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
But Nick Sirianni, good God, you want to talk about the perfect coach for the perfect city? I trust him. He is. There's no doubt in my mind he'll make the right decisions, and the talent is still there. I know they lost some pieces on defense, but they have the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
And they have
The biggest
AJ
threat in
Brown.
quarterback, because even, I mean,
Yeah.
look, whether his accuracy is getting bit better year over year,
Mhm.
and he's mobile, dude's got legs, he moves so quickly. So, man, I think if he stays healthy and we don't have any type of freak injuries, like,
Yeah.
like RG3, like, you have to be careful when you get those quarterbacks moving out of the pocket and getting going. I know it's your biggest gripe with Josh Allen too and doing too much. So, I think if they utilize him and he plays his game the right way, it's almost unfair for the rest of the division.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you there. All right. Uh my all NFC East team,
Mm,
Bert, obviously Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
yeah,
I have Tony Pollard at running back. Only because I feel like and I know you're gonna say Saquon, but
hmm,
I just I see Tony Pollard doing more on the field. I need, more versatility. I just think he's a little bit better of a pass catcher. I know that was Saquon's thing out of Penn State, but
yeah,
they've primarily used him as a power back. Like
yeah,
they haven't really they've done it. Obviously they've used him in screen pass situations, but Tony Pollard, man, he just watching him go has been amazing. For my receivers, I went with Terry McLaurin or AJ Brown is my number 1, Terry McLaurin is my number 2, and CeeDee Lamb is my number 3. And then, sorry, I chose Dallas Goddard over Darren Waller. I
ooh,
did, and then obviously I did the uh, uh, Cowboys defense. I'm sorry, Cowboys
oh,
defense. Micah Parsons. I couldn't look past it. I wanted to do the Commanders. I really did,
yeah,
but I just they have some question marks, and Micah Parsons is a beast. And the Cowboys defense, even though overall they weren't they were in and out because of injury, but they still forced the most turnovers last year out of any team in the league. So um, I'm going to rock with the Cowboys defense. Now, the reason I chose Dallas Goddard over Darren Waller is because when Darren Waller is healthy, he's a top 3 tight end,
yeah,
right? But Dallas Goddard has relatively been healthy, and he's a top 5 tight end. The
yeah,
problem is Darren Waller's never fucking healthy, so it's it's like I'm choosing health here. Like I think I can rely on him. I can't trust that Dallas Goddard or Darren Waller is going to be available to me for most of the season. But hopefully this is new scenery. Married Kelsey Plum, who just dropped 40 the other day with the
yeah.
record-breaking Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to them. And so lucky dog. And I just think that Dallas Goddard's just been more consistent for me. So that's why I went with my all 8 NFC East team.
Sounds, I don't want to say, I mean, somewhat similar. So our quarterback and receiving core is the absolute same.
Hmm.
Running back, I have Saquon.
Hmm.
because again, I would not be able to pick anybody else.
Yeah.
My tight end, I did go Darren Waller for his
Yeah.
upside, right? You
Mhm.
just made an excellent point about if he stays healthy, but um, I think easily if he does stay healthy and Daniel Jones is who we think he is, I think we'll see an explosion from him because not only is he going to get the reps, he's going to get the looks too.
Yeah.
Because look, we know the Giants receiving core isn't anybody notable, although getting there. We also do know that Daniel Jones does need an out, especially for
Yeah.
those short routes. He just needs someone to throw to, and you're going to have Darren Waller right there to help him in any situation possible. Defense wise, I went the Eagles. It was tough for me
Yeah.
to not do anything else. They were the number 2 ranked defense last year. I think in terms of defensive leaders, they led in terms of like yards per attempt and yards per completion overall in terms of like limiting, obviously from the opposing offense. So I almost did Commanders
Yeah.
as well, but I couldn't look past the fact that when you just looked at everything from an Eagles standpoint, look, they were in the Super Bowl for a reason. So I did round that out. But again, receiving core was the same. We do have some representation from everybody between the Cowboys, Eagles, and
Mhm.
then you got Terry in there too. You have to throw him. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a solid receiver. He's another one who, if he stays healthy, he's going to help really build up that team too, and give Howell some help as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. David Burns, man, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Shout out to Cedar
All
Hills,
right,
Texas.
Texas in the house.
Let's go. David Burns says, between Martin, Lamb, Parsons, and Diggs, I think Diggs is the least important one. Hope we can keep the rest. Yeah, they just signed him to a deal too. So
Yeah.
I am, again, Zach Martin is important. I would probably put him number 1 because he's on the offensive line, correct? So then Micah Parsons, and see, I would rank Diggs ahead of Lamb. Again, I don't particularly, I'm not fond of paying skill players. Anybody can catch the ball. Anybody can catch the ball. I know CeeDee Lamb is terrific, but he hasn't really shown me anything that makes me believe that he could be a great number 1 receiver. Like he's good, but he's not somebody, like I would never put him, like, is he a top 5 receiver in the league? Like that would be the only thing, and I don't think he is. He's maybe in the top 10 somewhere if you want to really argue it, but I just don't. Defense wins championships. You got to pay the offensive line. You got to pay your quarterback. So you pay your pass rusher. You pay your shutdown corner. That's Parsons and Diggs right there. Those are 2. You pay your quarterback, Dak. It took them a while, but they ended up doing it. And you pay the tackles, Zach Martin. So sorry, CeeDee Lamb. You just, by order of operations, you get cut out of that deal. So we'll see. Don't forget, everybody, you can go listen to our podcast, our new revamped Give Us a Shot Network podcast, anywhere you get your podcast. Now, instead of finding us individually, you can find us all in one spot. Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you listen to your podcast, search Give Us a Shot Network. You can listen to us, JT and the Don, The Divide Live, Go Talk with Marcus, High Spot Podcast, and much, much more. So please head on over, whatever you do. Leave us a 5-star review. Sorry to steal and bite from JT and the Don, but we're trying to win some awards up in this bitch, and we need your help. So we just need your help. So also, you can watch all of our episodes now on our website, www.giveusashot.network. Ty has done an excellent job updating that.
Oh, yeah.
Now all of our episodes will be chopped up and uploaded in segments. Bert, we got really good reaction on our NFC South segment that we cut out. So if you can't watch us live, you can watch us in bits and pieces throughout the week. That is another new thing happening with the network. So please give us a like, subscribe, share with your friends. I don't even care if you watch. Just help us boost the algorithms. All right, thanks.
Listen, we're modest people, but our modesty is fed by our vanity, and we want to win those awards. So you make it happen.
I want awards. Yeah, I got a black tie picked out, bud.
Yeah.
Who won't be winning any awards is Dan Snyder. Or he might win what is the awards for the bad movies? The Razzies?
Oh, the Razzies,
yeah. He might get a Razzie.
He won't be winning any awards. He won't be he might be losing some lawsuits. Yeah, and he might. I don't know. He might be winning jail time. Who knows?
Hopefully he does. Said good move on the Cowboys part. Yes, it is. So Dan Snyder officially voted out or kicked out or however you want to phrase it. He's no longer in the NFL.
Yep.
Fined $60 million. People are going to, snub their nose at that because he sold the Commanders for $6.5 billion or something crazy like that.
He
Look up the
bought
numbers
them for
yourself.
$800 million
Yep.
24 and a half years ago and sold them for $6 billion.
He's only made the playoffs like 3 times in his entire history here. Never won a playoff
6.
game. 6 times.
Yeah.
Did you ever win a playoff game?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
dang, there you go.
I think let me just run through the stats real quick. Regular season record 164, 220, and 2. So under 500 for 24 years. 10 different coaches, 6 playoff berths, 4 division titles, 3 team names. Guess how many starting quarterbacks in a 24-year span?
Oh my God. It has to be in the double digits. I'm gonna guess like 13.
Double at +1. 27 starting.
Oh yeah, I'm tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got to. Yeah, I'm about to say it had to be way more than that. They had like 5 starting quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then when it comes down to obviously the investigations, 4 federal investigations, 3 attorney general investigations, and 2 NFL investigations in itself. Things are bad when Jerry Jones. Couldn't you say that without laughing completely? Yeah. When Jerry Jones said, and I quote, "I think it's going to be a great day for the NFL going into the vote that morning."
That's hilarious.
Yes. So, but it is a good. It's a good day for NFL owners as a whole. No one liked Dan Snyder. Nobody that worked for him. None of the other teams' owners liked him. When you're a billionaire and you're amongst other white billionaires and no one likes you, I mean,
you're doing something wrong.
That just means you're a huge piece of shit. So, good riddance. I think it is an exciting time for whatever they decide to call themselves. I'll just go say Washington from this point forward. Obviously there was this vote because the investigations throughout the different fraud investigations and whatnot, but there was sexual harassment, and he was hiding revenue essentially from the other teams is what it came down to. But the individual who is set or leading the group set to take over to buy it is a DC native. He says that he feels an awesome responsibility to the city of Washington in itself. And he grew up watching the football team. It's a part of his identity. So it's really exciting for Josh Harris is his name. It's a private equity investor leading a group. And, I guess he plans to do really awesome things. I could almost compare it to the likes and excitement of like Steve Cohen buying the Mets.
Yeah.
Lifelong fan coming in, wanting to do something, not just to restore the faith in the fans, because they were, a huge fandom, right as Dan Snyder took over too. And then throughout the 24 years, just completely dwindled from that point forward. So.
Yeah. Josh Harris, also owner of the Sixers. All he has to do is not be Dan Snyder, right?
That's fair.
Hey, bud.
Maybe not sexually harass anybody too.
Yeah, don't walk past cheerleaders practicing and decide to operate a sex trafficking ring. Don't do that. Don't go by the Potomac River and illegally cut down protected forests so you can get a better view of the river from your mansion like Dan Snyder did.
Yeah.
All right. Don't walk by female employees of the Commanders or Redskins, whenever they were called that, and take their passports for ransom so they can't travel until they did what you wanted to do. So listen, hey, also Josh Harris, you know what else you got to do? Just make sure, outside of sexually exploiting women, make sure that sewage doesn't rain down on your fans while they're watching a game.
Yeah.
Try that. Literally, Josh Harris could win 3 games in the next 10 years. And he would still be riding the high of this goodwill that he got buying this team. Now, I'm going to shit on Josh Harris after I just gave him a bunch of praise because I want to get this joke off. As a Sixers fan, the Commanders are going to be equally frustrated with the team and coaching staff every year because we're always going to lose in the second round because that's what we do. That's what we do here. But yeah, it is a good day. It does seem similar to the Steve Cohen Mets thing.
Yeah.
David Burns says, hope the new owner changes the name of the team. Not sure which one is worse, Cleveland Guardians or the Washington Commanders. The Cleveland Guardians are named after a fucking bridge, Bert. Did you know that?
No.
God, man. It's a bridge that goes into Cleveland. Them two little weird statue things that are on the ball of their logo, those are the things that are on the bridge.
Did they explain that in the
Yes.
unveiling?
Yes.
And we just completely blew over
I
it
didn't
and
even
shit
think
on their
about
name
it.
completely?
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's so awful, man. Just it's unbelievable. Now, Josh Harris did say, and Magic Johnson also kind of hinted at this, that he does know that the fans hate the name Commanders. However, he did say that there are more important things that they want to try to fix. Obviously,
I
the
think that's
culture being
fair.
the first thing. It is fair, but also change the name like as
Yeah.
fast as possible. I do believe they have to wait until next season to even start the process, and then it still takes a season after that because there's like merchandise rights with like Nike and things of that
Jesus.
nature. So I do believe there's a process. It might be like 3 years before we get an actual name change. Hopefully, well, see, I don't know. Now that there's new ownership, maybe that's different. Maybe that's like a loophole. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I would think it'd be easy as just be like, hey, we're changing it. You're gonna have to deal
Yeah.
with it. Sorry about
Oh
the
yeah.
merchandise you
Sorry,
didn't
Nike.
sell.
Yeah. Make
Yeah.
some more jerseys.
Yeah.
You
Sorry that our
jackasses. Yeah.
attendance was the lowest in the NFL.
Yeah.
But someone still paid $6 billion for this team.
Yeah.
Which is insane. You have like arguably one of the worst teams and no fan base whatsoever from an attendance standpoint, and people are still paying that much money for an entire franchise.
Now,
Incredible.
to be fair to Dan Snyder, not only was he responsible for the worst 24 years or the worst time in that franchise's history, he's also now responsible for the best time because now he's no longer there. So Dan Snyder, responsible for the happiest and saddest times in Washington football history up until they win more Super Bowls. I guarantee you, if you asked a Washington fan, were they happy with 3 Super Bowls or Dan Snyder selling the team, they would say Dan Snyder selling the team. They can give back those Super Bowls because it's just a bad thing. Yeah, that Commander's name sucks. I personally feel like he chose that because he knew that people hated it, and I think he knew he was on his way out. He had a blackmail
like a book, right?
PowerPoint that he had like embarrassing texts and emails from other owners. And it's largely assumed that he was the one that leaked the John Gruden email that got him fired. Yeah. So I believe that 100%. When that came out, I immediately was like, oh, that's some Dan Snyder shit right there.
Super villain shit.
Because that was right at the beginning of like his accusations. And that was right before the investigation really kicked off for him. I think he kind of knew that what was coming. So he tried to basically put out something that would kind of detract people from looking a little deeper. Obviously, it didn't work. They were like, "Oh, get out of here, John Gruden. All right, Dan Snyder, your turn, buddy." And they got him up out of here. So shout out to the investigators who wasn't going to get duped by Dan Snyder's tomfoolery and shenanigans. The next thing, Bert, talk about sadness. Subway Series sadness. The New York Metropolitans. And the Bronx Bombers, New York, which you can get your Bomber shirt and your Mets Believe shirt, even though there's nothing to believe in, on the Give Us a Shot Network shop. Promo code SHOTBOYS with a Z to get some money and discounts off. What went wrong with the Mets, or with the Yankees and the Mets? But you're a Yankees fan, so what went wrong here?
Oh, Jesus, where do I start? Cashman's extension. I don't know. Like, so what? So I'm so
like, what grade would you give? I know
so
we're a little bit past mid-season.
Yeah, I mean, look, year over year since 2009, Joe. I feel like I'm just gonna like trauma dump on you right now when it comes down to this team, because Joe Girardi got fired for taking their team to the conference finals or the division final, whichever one it was. He was like one win away. Yeah, he got fired for a winning season. They brought in Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone had no manager experience whatsoever. This was a puppet from a Cashman standpoint. And honestly, he hasn't shown anything that he should keep his job, and he still shouldn't. But this isn't his fault. This is obviously not being able to build a team the correct way. So when our top guys do go down for injuries, and freak ones at that, like Aaron Judge's toe injury, we should still have a well-balanced team to be able to compete. Now, I understand this year is different. You still have the Rays who are leading the charge completely, and the Orioles coming up out of nowhere too. Both teams having abysmally low payrolls, but we get the highest payroll in baseball when you just paid Aaron Judge an insane amount of money, and I get a freak accident, but like, dude, when he's out of the lineup, there should be someone to be able to strike balance. Same thing with Stanton. Our pitching should be grossly better, and nothing against the top start like Garrett Cole, phenomenal season so far, but it just sucks. And you know this is a Met fan too. Like DeGrom has how many Cy Youngs, but how many of those Cy Youngs come at a cost from a team that was just absolutely horrible? And yes, you're happy for their like individual success, but what would be better is if they all got rings at the end of the season. So where do I start on this team? I think it goes back to Cashman. I don't understand why Hal decided to give him an extension when he has proven that time and time again. I don't know how many times you can point to injury. It doesn't matter. Like there should be something more consistent even through the, like we can't keep playing like blaming injury. And if that's the case, hire a new training staff. I'm just so sick and tired of all of this because, and this is probably the first year in the summer where we're like, I know we're like 2.5 or 3 games out of wild card, but it's just like, I'm just done with them. And usually it's like, hey, we have a chance, or hey, we're making a run for it. Like we're looking good. And look, anything can happen, but for me, I think I've sold on it completely. I'm like, I'm done. I'm ready for football. I'm tired of watching a team that went out to Oakland and went out to Anaheim and got blitzed by the Angels last week. And not for nothing, Shohei Ohtani's a beast, but the rest of the team isn't. So it's like, I think it starts with personnel, then it goes to training, and then managing. Plain and simple. And there's something that's broke there. And if we end the season missing the playoffs, there should be a change. And I know we just extended contracts between Boone and Cashman, but I would not be surprised if people got fired. And I think it should happen. I think they need a shakeup. Now, with that being said, trade deadline's a week away. Do I think Shohei Ohtani is going to go anywhere? No. Would I love to see him in pinstripes? Yeah. Give up anybody. I don't care. Like, are you kidding me? But not to say that we can't add. I just had an alert that pops up that the Yankees might be looking at Cody Bellinger. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means for the rest of the season. Can our season be salvaged? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see if we can add to. Maybe they can turn it around. For right now, we're losing what, 6-1, 7-1 against the Mets. Yeah. And look, they're your Mets. I'm 7-2 now. I'm not going to be completely disrespectful. But are you kidding me? In our house too, Pete Alonso has 2 home runs, and I think three runs altogether on the night. I have to watch just Daniel Vogelbach hit a home run in my house. Easily the most he looks like he's a professional bowler. That's how unathletic he looks. And not for nothing. That's actually a slight to bowlers. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to professional bowlers out there that I made that comparison. But I don't know. You're seeing bitter Bert in action right now because I can't believe this is happening. So anybody who's not a Yankee fan, you can enjoy my tears. Go for it.
You deserve this. Just as a Yankees fan.
It's my time, right? Why not?
It's your time. It's your time. The Mets, this is the story all season, right? Slumps. Pete Alonso was in the middle of his worst slump I can remember in his last couple years. Now he's hitting 2 home runs. You know what Mets fans are going to tell me? Hey, look, see, told you, Pete Alonso. I'm like, yeah, but he sucked all year. Like, he's been up and down. He started hot. Now, he did have the thumb injury, and that kind of what started it all. But then he's been largely sporadic all the rest of the season. And that, every once in a while, I mean, yeah, he hit 2 home runs here. When's the last time he hit a home run? It had to be beginning of June. So it's I hate when fans do that because it's like, I'm sitting here telling you this is happening. This is not good. And then you'll wait for that one game and you're like, oh, see, I told you. No, you ain't telling me shit. They're winning a game. Like, they're not going to lose all the rest of their games, but they have the second highest payroll in baseball, man. They're not going to make the wild card. Like, that bothers me so much that it's almost unfathomable that people are defending the team. No, shit on them. The fact that we probably aren't going to do anything at the trade deadline is also unbelievable. Billy Epler, you need to be fired. Buck, You need to be fired. Buck should have been fired. Buck should have
Poor
been
Buck.
fired at the All-Star break. Poor Buck, my ass.
Poor
Fuck him. Hey, I mean, what took you so long calling up some of our young guys? And now you know what's going to happen? They're going to overreact and they're going to trade the young guys in our farm system. We told you to call up dudes. We were telling y'all to call up dudes last year. You just waiting too long. You're holding on to hope for nothing. Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer are old as fuck. Can't do shit. You paid them all this money. Like, we have no bullpen, bro. Like, it's unbelievable. Robertson is the only thing we got going. And if we do trade anybody, it's probably going to be him because he's the only one we want. Matter of fact, I was reading today that there's some Mets fans that are even saying trade Pete Alonso because he deserves better. He does. And I'm like, no, you know what? He needs to suffer with the rest of us. That's what you need to do, Pete Alonso. You stay here, Polar Bear Pete, and do your hex bar fucking deadlifts, and you stay here and you suffer with the rest of us. That's what you can do.
I'm tired of the Mets fan base treating Pete Alonso like he's like the greatest hitter since Babe Ruth. Like, oh, I'm sorry, because you enter him in the home run derby year over year. Like, he's still, I mean, he's not top, right? So,
well, he was for the most part of the season. He was leading the league in the hard one. He got that injury, and that was it for him. But
I mean, right now it's Shohei. It's the show, bro. He is
God,
what a time to be alive. Talent,
the greatest baseball player to ever live. I don't care what anybody says. You argue with me. Yeah, you guys. There needs to be relegation in baseball, but like player relegation. Like, hey, Angels, you don't deserve Shohei. We're gonna go ahead and take him and put him in a better market for you. So, LA fans, just get used to seeing him, and he's in red and white now. He'll probably be in red and blue this time next year with the Dodgers. Maybe the Padres if they can unload some of their guys. I heard Juan Soto might be heading on out of San Diego, so we'll see.
Really?
Yeah, I heard the Yankees actually were sniffing around Juan Soto. Actually, yeah, I don't know if I'm down with that. I don't know if I'm down with that.
It's a large contract right there.
Bert, do you have a game ball you want to give out?
One game ball, one well wishes. I mean, first we'll go with the game ball. I know we don't talk football a lot here, but it's hard to ignore the excitement that has entered Miami with Lionel Messi. That's yours too?
Yeah, I thought honestly because I thought you were going to do Saquon, but you got
what am I going to work? We're getting paid. No, my God, what an exciting opener, winning it, and then tonight. First play for I don't know what they call it. First opening kick. Got behind the defenders, wasn't offsides, hit the post. I think they call it a post. I have no idea. I'm winging it. Post. Yep. Okay, cool. Hit the post, got his own rebound, put it in. And I don't know what it is. Those pink, the whole pink kit, it's doing it for me. Watching this exciting soccer now that I'm paying attention to it. So listen, game ball goes to him. He is making soccer. Look, soccer is always exciting, but I think having a huge international star on this soil, one that turned down Saudi money to play here, so he's a good guy. He's just an everyday guy shopping in Publix as the internet went crazy over as though he doesn't have to feed his family. So look, Lionel Messi gets my game ball. My well wishes, I mean, might be the same for you too. Goes to Bronny James, man. How terrifying. So young. I didn't even go to Twitter afterwards because I know all you fucking mutant creatures out there, keyboard warriors. The first thing, he must have took the shot. He must have took the vaccine. It's like, dude, this is a kid for all intent and purpose. Went through something scary, something that I know most fathers don't want to experience with their kids too. So well wishes go to Bronny James. Bronny James, I know he's out of ICU and stable, but I just hope, man, I hope this is obviously looked after and he can continue his career too, because he had a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely shout out. It's definitely a scary thing for anybody to go through, young or old. But you guys need to relax. The vaccine nonsense, like
crazy, bro.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, this kid suffered through something. Nobody wants to hear your fucking political agenda. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and just don't say anything. So yeah, mine was definitely going to go to Messi because of what I mean. That was,
dude,
picture perfect storybook. That type of thing was good. So I guess I'll revert and give mine to Jimmy Garoppolo, who everybody was scared he wasn't going to pass his physical. They tried to stop our guy from becoming a Las Vegas Raider great, and he's passed his physical and everything's good to go. So he will be ready week 1 for the black and silver. So shout out to Jimmy Graps. Shout out to our guy. And keep fucking them porn stars, buddy, because you're living the life that we all want. And we're just scared to admit because we're all married and with kids. You didn't do it.